Yeah, so this is a funny one as far as tutorials go, because the crop top haircut I did, and I'll put a link in the description, so if you haven't seen that crop top haircut, very controversial, literally has hundreds of comments, and you know what I'm saying, like it's one of my most commented videos already. And it's funny because this is actually his older brother, and he saw the cut and he hit up Perez and was like, bro, I want one of those cool European haircuts. So we ended up tag teaming this cut. He did one side, did the other side, Perez did the other side. So you're gonna be able to see one side, whatever I did, and I'm starting off with cutting the perimeter. This is pretty much me creating the shape for the top and giving myself a good foundation to blend into, because you know, once I create this perimeter, I can do whatever I want on the sides now. I can leave it the same length, I can do scissors on the side, I can do a number 2 or number 3 and number 4 on the side, do a taper, but we're gonna do like a fade, a contour fade. So that's the idea. And the 245 scissors that you see me using, those will be out. 245 scissors, 245 shears, whatever you want to call them, depending on where you live, what country you're in. You know, you're gonna call it something different. But and in the, you know, in it seems like in the States everybody calls shears, and everywhere else it's scissors, right? Like, you know, people who call it shears say scissors are for paper. People who call it scissors say shears are for sheep. So being able to travel and stuff, I've been able to see that. So once we cut it, I put some clay, some indestructible clay by 245. I put it in the hair first while it was wet, and then we kind of just blow dried it, and you know, just I was pulling the hair to allow the hot air to get into the roots, but also give it some volume. So once we created the perimeter, I'm gonna lay the foundation, and I'm gonna use my number 3, and that's gonna blend right into what we just created. Now we don't have to, you know, we don't have to be worried about going up too high in the fade and going too high above the parietal ridge. None of that. Like, we just blended right into a 3, right into what we just cut with scissors, and from here it's just fade work. Make it real simple, guys. And you know, he kind of left it up to me. I like the length on top. I like the silhouette on top. Not only that, but for his hairline, you're gonna see his hairline is really young looking. Like, he's got hair almost connecting to his eyebrows type stuff. So I do want to leave a little bit of length in the front. We're gonna shape up the front a little bit, not too much. Still leave it soft, but enough to where it looks like he has like a hairline, a normal hairline, and it's a little bit more symmetrical. So we're balding him out, and you guys can see I started the initial guideline lower, but we are going to spread it out because I feel like, especially with this haircut, I kind of want it to be really tight on the sides, but still be able to keep that shape from the parietal ridge up. And the parietal ridge, guys, textbook stuff. It's what you learn in barber school. Literally, it's just where the head starts to curve in from the side into the top. That's the parietal ridge. Usually it starts from your corners, like the corners of your hairline. Followed up with the shaver. Okay, so we're gonna blend down this fade. We did a number 3, right? So I believe, is this a number 2? Let me see. Yeah, so this is the number 2, right beneath the number 3. And you pretty much just stack every guard. So I'm gonna skip the 1.5 here, see if I don't need it. I got the 1 open right underneath the number 2, and if I need the 1.5 guard, then I'll just go up a little bit higher than what I just did with the 1.5 to blend into the 2. And we are in the new Tampa Headlines location, and I am cutting with Perez's tools in his station. This was the first location I worked at, guys. This was the first shop that we opened. You guys can already see, like, the thing about blending down is you can see the fade being created, right? Like, I feel like when you blend from the bottom up, you don't really see the fade being created. It can scare people going too high. It scares your clients sometimes. You don't really see the finished product until you're finished. Where this, you start to see it like building up. You know what I mean? And yeah, I had to go back to my 1.5 guard, and that's bringing the 1 open to the 2. You don't have to, but sometimes Sometimes it's just easier that way. And I prefer working smarter, not harder. Guys, if you're seeing value in this video already, make sure you smash the like button, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It helps the channel out immensely. So now we have the number one close, because we had just done the one open, and right beneath that we go with the one close. Remember where we just left off with the one close. It's literally like fingers width below the parietal ridge, or fingers width below the perimeter we created with our scissors. So remember that, because people think that I raise the fade when I start blending from bottom up. We're just kind of meeting into the middle. We're using the one pretty high up there. You guys can see that. So eventually, after this one, we're gonna go from the bottom, as you can see here, and we're just gonna meet that one in the middle. So now we have the clipper all the way closed, and we're going up like a 1/4 of an inch at a time until we finally meet to that number one. And that's where the fade kind of just pops. It's a little bit different, like not everybody blends this way. And guys, you know, my channel could be confusing to people, but for me, I want to be the most diverse channel. Like, I want to be able to show you guys different ways of fading. I want to show you guys different ways of cutting hair, different textures of cutting, different styles of cutting. So, you know, my whole thing, man, is in life, I want to be able to experience everything. Right? Like, I want to experience it all, because we got one life, and with my barbering career, I want to be able to experience as much as possible. I don't want to just be stuck with one thing only. You know what I'm saying? Like, only cutting one texture, only cutting with one clipper, only cutting one technique. Like, I want to learn it all. So you guys can see the blend is starting to come together. I'm not gonna lie, the seniors look good with that gold blade Perez put on. Not gonna lie. So remember, this is about where we left off with the one, and that's where we got the half guard on, and that's blending right into the one. We'll slap the one guard back on probably, and the one guard will end up being exactly where we left off before we started fading up. See where we're at with the one guard now? That's where we left off, and boom, we kind of just brought it all together. And you'll see after this step, the blend really starts to come in. So let me ask you guys a question, man. Like, you know, I don't know how many of you guys have thought about joining the online academy, but if you're thinking about it, lock in your spot now, because come June 3rd, before the Orlando premiere, we're gonna raise the price up. And it's nothing about trying to make more money. It's more so we've brought in more expenses, right? In order to enhance the academy, to better it, sometimes you got to bring in a little bit more expenses. So, you know, it just kind of helps us cover the cost. You know, we're not in it to. I'm not in it to be super like, you know what I mean? It's not so much about the money, it's more so about improving the academy. So we're gonna raise it a few bucks probably. So if you want to grandfather yourself in with the current price, do so before June 3rd. And check it out, guys, like the blend's getting in there now. And of course, this haircut I'll explain in more detail in the academy. What I try to do is do everything in real time, and then I also have like one of those smart pads and the smart pens, and I start drawing out guidelines and shapes and all kinds of stuff, man. Just try to explain it a little bit more in depth. You guys probably already had clicked out. Like, if you're not interested in the academy, you probably already clicked out of this video, because the attention span is so small. Like, as far as most people, and YouTube knows that. That's why long videos don't really work that well on YouTube. So at this point, I'm just kind of going back in detail, and I'm looking for dark areas, and I'm just lightening them up a little bit. This is all detail stuff. So we'll definitely blend in his beard. We'll also do some scissor work. I'm gonna show you guys some scissor work just to bring in the fade into the top a little bit better. And it's more so refining. This is all, at this point, it's all refining. We went through the system, we went through all the steps. It's all refinement right now. You know, at the end of the day, like most of your clients, they're gonna like the fade. Like we like most clients, they don't have the barber's eye. You know what I'm saying? Some do, but most of them don't. So like, don't be too hard on yourself, guys. This whole thing where we're really refining the hell out of the haircut, it's more so for our own OCD, and that's okay, because people don't understand there's an art to this. Like this is a craft, and this is something that you got to put a lot of hours into to get good at. All right, so we're gonna just go ahead and define the C cut, and I'm using the cordless T outliners. These are not modified, they're just customized, right? Like the whole paint and all that stuff. If you guys see right above the C cup, it looks a little dark. You're gonna see I'm gonna refine that with scissor over comb, and then soften it up a little bit more with thinning shears. The C cup popped right away. I don't think this man's ever had a bald fade, by the way. I've been giving all kinds of people bald fades for the first time. It's funny because I did the hands-on courses and the look and learns. The last stop, I believe, was Portland, San Jose, and Concord, California. And in those 3 spots, I gave 2 people their first bald fade ever. And I didn't ask them what they wanted. Literally, after I did it, I asked them if they ever had a bald fade. They said no. But yo, they loved it afterwards. They loved it. And I recorded those as well, so I'll show you guys. But you can see right away, like we start doing scissor over comb and everything just comes together. Oh man, it starts to look great. And when your customers see you bring out the scissor and comb, like they're just like, yo, this dude. They don't even have to look better. The fact you're doing it, it's almost like part of the experience. Here I'm just kind of point cutting, detailing. Again, the same thing with using the corner of your blades to take out dark areas. You're using point cutting with the scissors or the shears, whatever you want to call them, to soften up dark areas, as I'm doing here. And look how the blend is really starting to pop with the C cup there, scissor over comb, all that. And again, we have not sacrificed the shape of his haircut, especially from the fade to the top. Like the silhouette is there. You can do whatever you want on the sides, but when you start off with the top, that's a game changer in my opinion. Here we are with the thinning shears. You see we softened up that dark area that was right above the C cup. Look how nice that's looking now. That's looking blurry. Now it's blurry as hell in my opinion. Now I found up with a 245 razor. When I just do the C cup, if it's just a C cup, I'm not really gonna bring out the shave gel. Especially, you know, he's not gonna bump up or nothing like that. So it's real quick. But look how that's starting. That blend is popping crazy. The lineup is popping like crazy. And it doesn't matter what texture of hair it is, guys, it works. This is curly hair. It works for tight curly hair. It works for straight hair. I've shown you guys time and time again. I hope by now you guys have the confidence to cut anything, right? And right here, this is the part I was talking about earlier where we're just kind of cleaning up. Like he's got a young man's hairline. All I'm trying to do is add some symmetry to it. I'm not trying to give him no crazy Steve Harvey lineup. The fringe, the length is gonna kind of, you know, hang over his hairline a little bit. So I think it's like the perfect combination of hard lines and soft lines to complement his head shape, his look, his hairline.